Hi guys, William Morris here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a library called Ascent from Viral Audio. So this library is what I'd describe as a trailer toolkit, and it has a mix of playable instruments and some cinematic effects as well. The library is made for the full version of Kontakt 6.0.2 or above, and it will take up just under half a gigabyte of hard drive space, so very light. It's currently priced at $55. So let's jump in and take a listen. We have all our different patches for the library in here. A lot of the playable stuff is on individual patches. So you see at the top we've got some different bass sounds, we've got some Brahms, downers, leads, pads, plucks, pulses, and then these categories are more sort of your individual sounds and sound effects, and you get sort of multiple ones in each patch. So there's risers, sub-booms, trailer hits with the hit only, regular trailer hits, and the washes as well. So I'll go back to the top and we'll just start to listen to a few of the bass patches. Yeah, really nice kind of growly low sub bass sort of thing. I'm not going to spend too much time on the interface because everything's pretty self-explanatory and it's really nice and simple, clean sort of layout. I do like that they've included this mod wheel assignment, so you can choose between mod wheel, changing volume, low pass or high pass, and then that's high pass and low pass are assignable down here. The only other page is just the effects page, which just has a simple delay, EQ, reverb, compressor, and an exciter one as well. So let's take a listen to some more bass sounds. So yeah, really cutting, aggressive, distorted bass stuff. Let's try another one. These are what I'd call sort of really full range bass sounds. So although there is a lot of bass and low end, you also get a lot of cut in the highs as well, which can be really nice for trailer and sort of that category of stuff. Let's do one more of the basses and then we'll move on to listen to some Brahms. So yeah, again, loads of cut, loads of aggression. Let's try some of the Brahms now. So as you'll see for these ones, they have a key marking for each one of them. This one corresponds to B2 on the keyboard, and I believe that's just the original note recording, and that's been then spread across quite a wide sort of range. It would have maybe been nice for these Brahms sounds to have the recordings be for multiple notes, just so they don't have to be stretched across the key range so much. And that's basically just obviously because the Kontakt engine will have to stretch or shorten the sample the higher or lower you move away from its key center. So for here, pretty cool. So as you can hear, the sample gets shortened quite a lot, and that's just because of the stretching that Kontakt's doing. All right, so let's have a listen to some more. So yeah, lots of dark kind of threatening Brahms sounds. Let's do just a couple more. That's really cool, I like that one. So as you can hear, like upper in the range, this is probably where you wouldn't use them as much. I think generally people probably aren't going to stray too far from the original key. sounds ace. Let's try the tremor. So you can hear then that's kind of a lower one, and you can hear how much stretching sort of happening on that. So yeah, it might have been nice just to have a few more samples to play with here, so there's not so much stretching going on, but close to the original key. They sound really cool. Let's just do one more. Nice, really aggressive stuff. So that was some of the Brahms. Let's take a listen to the downers. So this is the first one where there's individual sounds on each key. I do like the way that some of these retain something in the sort of upper frequency, so you can still kind of hear it when it goes all the way filtered down kind of thing. So that was the downers, one of the smaller categories, but let's have a listen to some of our lead sounds. So yeah, again, lots of cut, which is really nice for a trailer style lead. Let's try some more of these. So this is where some of the playback controls are going to come in. So we've got polyphonic, which just means you can play several notes at once if you want to, but there's also mono glide, which is quite nice because it gives you that sort of bend in between the notes. Nice to have that as a quick, handy option, because a lot of trailer stuff, the leads do these kind of big bends between notes. Let's try the strings bite. It's kind of sci-fi vibe on that one. So that's the leads. There's quite a few of these pads. I'm just going to go through a couple of them. So much like the Brahms, I think these are actually single key samples then stretched across. But for the pads, interestingly, I think this is actually quite nice because in sort of the lower registers you get this almost filtered sort of effect. I do like a lot of these pads though, pretty cool. That one's got, yeah, again, a sort of spacey sort of vibe. I even called it Barren Planet, so yeah, that's nice. I do appreciate good naming when the patch kind of gives you a bit of a clue as to what it is. Let's try Distant Dunes. Yeah, these are really cool actually. I mean, they're quite interesting for a pad, and definitely feel like they live up to the name that's been put on them as well. I'm gonna try for Phantom Glow. I think they actually, for me, fall into more like a drone category, because I'm not sure you'd want to play these as like a full chord or anything, but I really like that kind of subtle, evolving sound they have going on. It's just enough interest to kind of hold your ear, but not sort of too distracting as well. Let's move on to some of these plucks now. So yeah, really sort of classic cold trailer piano sort of sound there. Nice, got a kind of Blade Runner vibe to that one. Cool stuff. Let's try some of these pulses out. Now these will sync to your host tempo as well. I'm just going to put on a bit of low pass filter here. I think the one thing that would have been nice to include on some of these pulse patches is just that the original tempo, just to give like an indication of what sort of range they would work in. It's nice, interesting rhythm on that one. Let's do a few more. These are really cool. I like the patterns are sort of interesting enough, but not too crazy that you're never going to find anything else for them to work with. Let's try this stomper one. So yeah, sort of instant action cue starters, a lot of these, really nice. Let's move on to some of these risers. I feel like that one, I can hear the sort of machine that's made it in that one. It's cool though. I should say as well that the WAV files are all open and available, which is probably the way I'd prefer to work with stuff like risers and booms and hits and that kind of stuff. Just because it's so much easier to drag sort of timed samples as WAV files onto your project, and you can just align them with beats and stuff a lot easier. But yeah, all the WAV files are available, so anyone that wants to work that way, that's an option as well. Let's move on, listen to some sub booms. Nice, nothing too crazy, nice simple low boom. Let's try some of the trailer hits. This is the hits only, so no kind of whoosh into it. Yeah, nice. I like these. There's loads of transient to them, so you know they're going to cut through, and it's really nice to have hit-only stuff, so you're not always tied to the whoosh part as well. But let's have a listen to the full ones. Nice, I love that whoosh sound into it. Yeah, I love these. These are great. That kind of small, almost like percussion roll detail into the whoosh is really nice as well. Yeah, they're cool. Probably one of my favorite categories so far. So finally, we have the whooshes. So yeah, really nice to have those whooshes separated from the hits as well. I would have loved a few more of these and to be able to hear some of that cool kind of percussion roll stuff that was going on in the full trailer hits. But these sort of soft transition whooshes are really helpful as well, especially in earlier sections where you're not looking for massive hits to be happening. So yeah, that's all the patches. Hope it's given you kind of an overview of the library. I can see this library really appealing to anyone who wants to get into trailer or is already there, and also for sort of action cue stuff, it could be really useful. I really like this UI. It's really nice and clean and has all the controls that you want to have without sort of too much clutter. I've noticed as well that the CPU and RAM usage is really low for this library, so it could be a great one for anyone that composes on the go on a laptop with maybe not the best specs. And it really does kind of cover the sort of fundamentals of a trailer toolkit as well, with the different sound categories. On the improvement side, I think maybe, as I'd mentioned before, the Brams could have maybe been sampled on more than one key for some of them. They do sound great as long as you don't stray sort of too far from that original key recording. And the only other thing worth mentioning as well is maybe that some of the effects could have been not as baked in. I would say that most of the sounds in here don't have these effects applied on them. They're more if you want to add sort of additional processing on top, but a lot of the processing for the sounds has already been done, which obviously is great if you just want to use everything out of the box and get kind of mix ready stuff that's all ready to go. But if you do want to deep dive a bit more and do things like, you know, take off reverb and other stuff that's not always available. One thing worth mentioning with the included WAV files is that I believe they're all in 48K. I would have liked to have seen them in 96 or above just to give those pitch shifting options a little bit more scope, but 48 is going to be pretty good for most use cases. But yeah, overall, great library. I believe this is their first release from Viral Audio, so yeah, looking forward to seeing what they come out with next. But yeah, that wraps it up from me, guys. As usual, any questions, just let me know in the comments. If not, I'll see you again on the next one.